Everything explained in this video is summarized from the CoinMarketCap. And also, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for future XRP news and some other cryptocurrency news in general. Now take a look at this. XRP lawsuit intensifies with new appeal timeline. Before we move further, there is a new crypto airdrop now taking place on Telegram, which is about to launch anytime soon. Please make sure you participate in this airdrop. The link is in the description of the video. Don't miss out on this. Now let's continue with our video. A new chapter has now been added to the ongoing legal drama that Ripple is having with the SEC. Stuart Alderodi, the chief legal officer of Ripple, has provided a detailed plan for the high-stakes struggle in which the business is currently engaged. He also disclosed that the lawsuit may continue until the middle of 2025. As the SEC continues to fight for the classification of XRP as a security, this is a direct response to Ripple's cross-appeal submitted on October 10th. Now that this time frame has been established, the confrontation between Ripple and the SEC is going to continue, which will keep the cryptocurrency community on. Stuart Alderodi offers some insights into the timeline of Ripple's appeal. In a post that was posted by Eleanor Terrett, a journalist for Fox News, Alderodi provided a detailed explanation of the subsequent steps in the appeal procedure. Form C is an essential document that outlines the important aspects that the SEC plans to contest, and it must be submitted by the SEC by the deadline of October 16, 2024. Once 7 days have passed, Ripple will submit its Form C, which will provide further clarification on the areas that it intends to address in its cross-appeal. Following the completion of these papers, the parties will engage in negotiations over a briefing schedule for the ensuing legal affairs. In the meantime, after the forms have been handed in, the Securities and Exchange Commission will have up to 90 days to draft and submit its opening brief. The entirety of its legal arguments will be included in this paper. And Alderodi anticipates that the regulatory agency will go through the entire term of 90 days. After that, Ripple will submit a rebuttal, which will be followed by its brief, in which it will elaborate on its legal stance and address the charges made by the SEC. The cross-appeal strategy employed by Ripple. The decision that Ripple has made to file a cross-appeal is an essential component of its strategy since it guarantees that all legal issues will be examined in their entirety. As Alderodi pointed out, the purpose of this action is to remedy any legal issues that have not yet been handled. He emphasized the point that there cannot be an investment contract without key rights and obligations that are contained in a contract was included in the cross-appeal that we filed to make sure that nothing is left on the table. But the fact that we filed it. On October 2, the Securities and Exchange Commission submitted a notice of appeal, which indicated that it intended to challenge certain portions of the earlier court verdict. It is anticipated that the entire legal procedure will continue until at least July 2025, as both parties are currently engaged in this drawn-out legal dispute, as stated by Alderodi. At the same time as Ripple is getting ready for this protracted legal struggle, the upcoming Ripple Swell Conference is expected to deliver important updates, such as the possibility of new partnerships and improvements in the Ripple Use stablecoin project. Amidst Ripple's ongoing legal struggle with the same, this conference has the potential to further determine the company's destiny. The chief attorney for Ripple, Stuart Alderodi, has informed Fox Business that the United States Securities and Exchange Commission is scheduled to submit its pre-argument statement form Thursday. It is anticipated that the form will disclose some information regarding the appeal strategies of the organization, which have been widely debated within the community. Earlier this month, the formidable regulatory agency submitted its notice of appeal, which resulted in a significant decrease in the price of XRP as reported by U.Today. While this was going on, Ripple decided to retaliate against the agency by launching its very own cross appeal. It is anticipated that the corporation will submit its Form C 7 days after the filing conducted by the SEC. Following that, the parties will be required to discuss the schedule for their briefings. The first brief of the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, which is expected to provide a comprehensive description of the agency's legal arguments, would then appear within around 3 months. The corporation will then provide the agency with its brief in response to the agencies. Alderodi had previously warned that the agency would most likely target the company's XRP sales on a variety of trading platforms and other channels. Even if RIP officials seem to be certain that the SEC would undoubtedly come out on the losing end, there is still a possibility that the agency may emerge victorious. Fred Rispoli, an attorney, recently expressed his opinion that the number of judges who are assigned to the case would have a significant impact on the chances of victory for the Securities and Exchange Commission. Unfavorable news for Ripple would be the presence of a panel of 3 judges who tend to agree with the government. The likelihood of Ripple's loss may increase to as high as 80%. There is a possibility that the new legal struggle, which would involve the complete briefing procedure as well as oral arguments, will continue until the year 2026. In the ongoing legal fight between Ripple and the SEC, preparations are being made for the next stage of the conflict. After speaking with Ripple's chief legal officer, Stuart Alderoty, Leonard Tourette has learned that the Securities and Exchange Commission is planning to submit its Form C, which will include specifics regarding the scope of its proposed appeal by tomorrow. Exactly 7 days after the initial submission, Ripple will follow suit by submitting its own Form C, which will detail its cross appeal. Until July 2025, it is anticipated that the appeals process will continue. The SEC is confronted with an imminent deadline for Form C filing. Ripple and the SEC are currently engaged in a legal dispute, and the date of the Form C submission is drawing near. It is of the utmost importance to fill out this form, since it will provide an initial picture of the legal approach that the SEC will take for the appeal. According to Tourette, the complaint will provide some degree of detail on the accusations made by the SEC, as well as the basis for the SEC challenge to earlier findings. Following that, Ripple's legal team, which will be led by Alderoty, will respond by submitting their very own Form C, which will detail the scope of Ripple's cross appeal. Through the use of the cross appeal method, both parties can address specific areas that they wish to query. In the case of Ripple, it may concentrate on particular verdicts or interpretations that have been at the center of the legal procedures up until this point. During Doge 2014, you can rejoice in Dogecoin and make significant gains. During the celebration of Dogecoin, Doge 2014 was able to raise a total of $500,000, gain access to an exclusive airdrop, and perhaps make a lot of money with it. Display additional plus following the submission of these forms. It is anticipated that Ripple and the SEC will next reach a consensus on a briefing timeline. Alderoty has indicated that it is anticipated that the Securities and Exchange Commission will take the full 90 days that are permitted to submit its opening brief. It is anticipated that this brief will provide a concise summary of the legal points presented by the SEC, so laying the groundwork for the subsequent stage of the litigation. Following that, Ripple will be allowed to respond to the brief submitted by the SEC and to make its case in front of the judges. The information that has been provided is not intended to be trading advice. There is no responsibility for any investments that are made based on the information that is provided on this page. Before making any decision about investments, we strongly advise conducting independent research and consulting with a knowledgeable professional.